Listen, we're going to break down every scenario out there possible to where a contender can make it to the college football playoff, whether they win their conference championship, whether they lose their conference championship, how they will be able to sneak into the Final Four. But I think it's really important to realize that Ohio State still has a shot. They absolutely still belong in the conversation of making it to the CFP. Now, what has to happen for the Buckeyes is a little far-fetched, but it's not out of the realm of possibility just yet. Let's go ahead and talk about it. If you are new here, welcome on into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. So if this is the type of content you enjoy, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below. Continue to tell your friends, your family, those you work out with at the gym, your entire church congregation, the people in the Publix parking lot, really everybody about this channel, as we're on the race to 1,000, then 10,000, then 20,000, then 50,000 and 100,000. And guys, we're going to get there. I'm telling you, you're going to get there. So make sure you like and subscribe to the video now. And as always, let's continue to talk college football. By the way, if you like this type of content, make sure you also give me a follow on social media at Mr. Cole Thompson on Twitter. It's the exact same as my YouTube channel. So when you hit subscribe on one, just go on over to X and hit subscribe on the other. Thanks. Two things can be true at once. Ohio State does not control its own destiny to the college football playoff. They don't. They lost to Michigan in Ann Arbor in week 13, and they will not be representing the Big Ten East in Indianapolis for a shot at winning a Big 12 title. They don't control their own destiny. They have to have chaos occur. Basically, the best way I can put this is imagine Ohio State as Jay Oppenheimer, and he's about ready to hope that the atom bomb drops and creates chaos everywhere in college football. Like, that's what needs to occur for Ohio State to make it into the CFP. But don't tell me they're not deserving of being in the conversation for being a national title contender. They are. They handle business against everybody. They convincingly won games against lesser tier opponents. And they played close, no cigar, but they played close against Michigan. And this was probably the best version of Ohio State we have seen in that game since 2019, when they last won it. They were physical. They dominated. The defense really turned the corner. They made it nearly impossible at times to run against them. They tried to make the offense one-dimensional. This came down to three main elements. Number one, Zach Zenter's injury. You immediately see right then and there Blake Corum running in for a touchdown. He throws at the 6-5, and Michigan Stadium is rocking, knowing that their guy is in the end zone defending his team. That was one. Number two, you had the big interception by Kyle McCord, which led to a scoring drive. And number three, they were able to milk the clock, get that field goal, and turn it from a 3-point game into a 6-point game to where you needed the touchdown. That was really the only difference in this game. But Ohio State's done its job. Ohio State's 11-1. They absolutely look like one of the 5 best teams in college football, in my opinion, and they have all year. But unfortunately, they do not control their own pathway. So what is the scenario to where they could get into the playoff? There's one. Maybe two if you include this, but it doesn't really matter because one of these teams I think is in. But you were rooting for 3 teams to cause chaos this weekend. The Michigan game, you actually want Michigan to win. Because if Michigan wins and they win convincingly over an elite defense led by Phil Parker at Iowa, then that makes you look a lot better. That honestly does wonders for your resume. We held our own against them. Iowa didn't do diddly squat. You need that to happen. You also are rooting just for the Pac-12 to either play close or get a blowout, but it doesn't really matter with the Pac-12. I will say, if anything, you want Oregon to probably lose because of then it justifiably convinces Washington that they were one of the best teams, and Oregon's strength of schedule does hurt them. It is a little bit penetrated a bit, and that would allow you to move down the ladder as a 2-loss team. So maybe you are rooting for Oregon, but that's neither here nor there. The 3 teams that you are rooting for this weekend, if you are an Ohio State fan, number 1 is Georgia, number 2 is Louisville, and number 3 is Oklahoma State. Because if Oklahoma State at 9-3 dismantles Texas, and I'm going to be completely honest, Texas's defensive line is one of the best in college football. Their run defense is sound as all hell, but Ollie Gordon goes off in the 4th quarter. So if you can tire down Texas's defensive line and then allow Ollie Gordon to be shaken up like a Coke cannon in the 4th quarter, pop it open, number 0 is going to go off. And he's done it all year, and he can continue to do it in Arlington. He's going to be playing in front of the home crowd. This is a game where you have to play 4 convincing quarters if you're Texas. What you did against Texas Tech That's what you have to do against Mike Gundy and the Pokes. But if the Pokes win, that eliminates Texas. Alabama. I don't see a scenario where Alabama is left out of the playoff if they are the SEC champions. Because Alabama, the team that played in week 2 against Texas, is extinct. They're dead like the dinosaurs. They're as dead as disco. They're a new team. They have balance, they have consistency, they have chemistry, they have culture, and that's a testament to Nick Saban with his adapt or die personality. Jalen Milroe's playing phenomenal. Jalen Milroe single-handedly won the Iron Bowl. He did. And you can go ahead and say, well, there was mistakes made by Auburn, and they decided not to blitz about 3 plays. It doesn't matter. Number 4 found a way on 4th and 31 to connect with Isaiah Bond, and he finished with over 350 yards of offense. He won the Iron Bowl. If Alabama wins, they're likely in the playoff. And then you have to have that conversation of Georgia versus Ohio State as a one-loss team. Well, Georgia hasn't lost a game in the last 29 appearances. Georgia has played 4 ranked teams. Ohio State has played 3, and they're 2-1. Georgia's 4-0. Georgia also has, in my opinion, one of the more sound offenses in college football this year. And they played a tougher test as the number 1 team against the number 7 team, and they still played for a conference title, and they were undefeated during the regular season. You do not want to have that conversation. So you want Alabama to lose, because then the head-to-head with Texas, that's how the conversation for both those teams. And then you need Louisville to win. And Louisville, the reason you need them to win is because I don't see a scenario where you leave out Florida State. I don't. Florida State is a flawed team. Florida State will not be a team that I think can win a national title without number 13. They were very unlucky against North Alabama, and it sucks. It sucks if you're a college football fan. It sucks the exact same way you hate watching Zinter go down. You hate this for college football because you want the best product every single Saturday. And whether or not your team walks away a winner, you want to know that you were battle tested and proven against that team. I will always take a fully healthy team and lose by a field goal than beat up on a team and win by 40 when they're playing 2 second stringers, 2 third teamers. I won't do that. Louisville right now, if they win, knocks out Florida State. Florida State will not go to the playoff as a one-loss team. It just won't happen. There's no way in hell. But at the same token, Florida State is more than Jordan Travis. They are 100% a team that has fought through adversity. They found a way to win last weekend against Florida, which was a monumental game. Trey Benson has been effective. Everybody else stepped up. And you reward the ability to fight through adversity. And that's what you get when you see Florida State play. Florida State goes undefeated. They're in the college football playoff. But if they're not, and somehow Oregon loses, and somehow Texas loses, and somehow Alabama loses, sitting right there is Ohio State. And the College Football Playoff Committee may not come out and say it internally. I don't agree that Ohio State should be there. I honestly felt like they should have probably been at 8, because if you would need as much chaos as possible for you to even get to the dance, but I'm neither here nor there. The CFP committee agrees that Ohio State is good enough to play in a college football playoff. And again, we use that scenario. Imagine you have to play Ohio State. Do you feel confident you're going to win that game? Because I can do the same thing to you. Do you feel confident you would beat Michigan? I think one team would. I think one team right now would feel confident about beating Michigan, and that's the betting odds to where we're going to see them in the national championship. That's it. So you can't say Ohio State is not a good enough team to win a national title. You can't say that Ohio State hasn't done its job. They won on the road against a very compatible Notre Dame team. They handled business against Penn State at home. And what's a really interesting stat that I think enough people aren't paying attention to, top 5 teams this year at home are 31-1 in games. One team lost. It was Texas beating Alabama when they were number 3 in week 2. That's the only time a top 5 team has lost at home this year. So you can't even say it's that bad of a loss, because you lost by less than a touchdown. You also lost to a top 5 team, and you also lost in a hostile environment where you knew this is going to be tough. Yeah, Ryan Day is going to be facing a lot of pressure going into next offseason. And I'm going to get this out of the way real fast. Ryan Day is the right guy to lead the charge. He is. I don't care if you think that you can get any better. We'll talk about that on another video. But Ryan Day is good enough. If you get a shot to make it to the CFP, he's going to prove it. But here's what you need to happen. Louisville, Oklahoma State, and Georgia. You're rooting for those teams like they bleed the scarlet and gray. That's what you're hoping for. They are, in your opinion, brothers. They're associates of Ohio State this weekend. Because if that's what you want to be in the Final Four and get your shot at winning a national title, getting Marvin Harrison a shot to hoist up the trophy, getting a shot of Tommy Eichenberg and all these other key players who have been a part of the system and have made you proud and have given you everything possible, that's what you're rooting for. You're a Cardinals fan, you're a Cowboys fan, and you're a Bulldogs fan. And maybe you're a Husky fan, and maybe you're a Husky fan because of I like the Huskies and I want them to go to the college football playoff. But either way, those three teams are in, you're probably having a shot. One of those teams loses, I hate to break it to you, that's the name of the game. Better luck next year, Buckeyes. Thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.